Hello, I'm on my first solo trip that I've done since October, I think it was, 2019.
Hello and welcome to part 2. This is a solo trip through a very, very remote part of Western Australia where, although I was solo, I did have some friends with me. You at home. So I just let the camera roll, share with you thoughts, my filming processes, I cook some meals and just basically take you on the journey with me. If you'd like to download all of the episodes right now, you can. The link is in the description. Enjoy the show. I'm Andrew St Pierre White, explorer, overlander and broadcaster with over 40 years driving 4x4s. Welcome to 4X Overland. I'm a prisoner of this hill. Right, more about why I'm doing a solo trip now. I want to. I'm also going to put together a course for the Overland Workshop which is going to be free. Now, I love this system because it's so fast. I'm not staying here for more than one night. I'm actually en route now to my destination. Well, I don't really have a destination, but I'm not staying here. This is really just a one-night stopover. And being a solo trip, it was, all right, I just want to get my, the United States is fantastic for me for getting new ideas and inspiration. And the podcast, the Next Journey podcast, was a direct result of going to the US and being inspired. Solo trips are like that for me as well. This time, instead of having the busyness of other people, it's now the complete and utter solitude of doing a solo expedition. The course I am creating is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Overlanders. I gave a very brief presentation at Overland Expo West in Arizona. That was a couple of days before we left the States. It was our last major stop there. So the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Overlanders, and this is a course that I actually want to give away because I feel like it. I feel very lucky that I'm able to do this, and this is my job. This is not a hobby for me. It's my vocation, and I've made a reasonable living out of going overlanding. And having the experience of solo traveling is mind cleansing. It really is. That's my supper, quick supper. That's the beauty of this setup. I'm done. I'm putting something in the little oven to cook. There's nothing for me to do apart from get a cold beer. And of course, I want to share with you some stories. Look at the light in these trees. Oh, I have to stop talking to you now because I need to film the trees. Excuse me. This is what it's about. And I'm also going to share with you how I film. So some filming techniques, storytelling techniques. Look at this, for example. It's the first example. So it's beautiful light, typical Australian silhouettes, and I have the color balance set on a very sensible setting called outdoors. This is what auto white balance will render this. Do you see what's happening? It's taking all the gold out of it.
If you want sunsets to look yellow like they actually look, then you have to tell your camera, no, it's a sunset. Because it is actually almost completely dark now. And this camera is so good at low light that I can continue filming. It looks like, what, 5 in the afternoon right now? On a typical, yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Because of course this is what I do. I make content, and I have had some incredible solo experiences. Honestly, life-changing solo experiences. So what I might do is en route is highlight some of them. Most of them are on YouTube, not all of them. Most of them are there, but I can point you out to those videos. So if you are interested in remote solo travel and in extreme situations, extreme loneliness, where one knows one is the only person for hundreds of square kilometers, and to find help would be, quick help would be almost impossible. Not completely impossible, but almost impossible. And the feeling it gives one, and then because after a while you've spent so much time talking to yourself, a condition that I have called benign insanity. More of that later. Hopefully not too much of it, just a little bit. Good morning. Every time you see a YouTuber do that, early morning, get out, all heroic and remember, they've already got up, they've opened the doors, they've put on something warm, they've walked outside, they've put the camera down, they've set it up, they've turned on the microphone, they've turned the camera on, they've gone back into the van, they've closed up, waited a few seconds, and then opened the doors again. I salute all of you YouTubers that do this. I've been watching a guy called Chad. He has a very nice YouTube channel called Living the Van Life, and his photography, videography is lovely. His editing's nice. His shows are just nice and relaxing. And he does what I do in a very different way. And I watched one the other day, and there he got out of his Sprinter van, and I thought, yes, I've done that 100 times. Well, overnight, the clouds explain everything, because in the middle of the night I was woken up by every single truck that passed on the road. This pipe here is a water pipe. It's about, I haven't actually looked up, but it runs next to the road for 500 or 600 kilometers. And because of the cloud, now the sound of the trucks has now been dampened, because when I arrived last night, yes, I could hear the trucks, but they weren't annoying. Now they're deafening would be an overstatement, but I woke up 10 or more times during the night because every single truck was so loud it woke me up. It's because of the clouds, and of course probably a wind change as well. So I'm only 4 to 4.5 hours from my home, so I've still got a long way to go, so I'm not going to stick around. I'm going to grab a coffee at one of the stores this morning, probably stop and have a milky breakfast. I've got carrying cereal, but I don't want to stay here. I've got some really nice places that I intend going to. What makes this trip unusual for me is that I still haven't decided exactly where to go. Let me take that off there so you can see better. In that I have a choice, and I've left my choice open. They both start at a place called Warburton, which is 1,600 kilometers from my home, so 1,200 still from where I am now. And I'm in a dilemma. I've got to choose. Do I go west or do I go south from Warburton? So I will share that decision-making process with you, because I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to have to let's do this the safe way. I drove off-road last night to get to my camping site, and I followed the road, the service lines that follow the pipeline. I think we all do it. We have a particular town, place, distance that we have to get to from home to suddenly feel this sense of I'm on my trip. Now with solo traveling, and I found this every single time I've been solo traveling, and you've got to push through this. The first night is the worst night. You feel lonely, you wish you had your friends with you, your family with you, and you feel a little bit exposed. The next morning, waking up, like I did this morning, a little bit better, a little bit easier. For me, that place, if I am going basically east of my home, is the town of Kalgoorlie, which is about 7 hours drive. And I know that once I get to Kalgoorlie, I'm well and truly on my trip. And my whole body just relaxes. I suddenly feel, and I get excited. I get excited about the trip that's ahead of me. And that's exactly what has happened today and where I am now. 30-minute stop at Kalgoorlie, top up fuel, and a few other little things that I didn't remember to pack. Chips, actually. And I'm back on the road, and well, the trip is ahead of us, and I'm still toying at this moment. It's 11 in the morning where I'm going to go, and I will make that decision tonight, because my destination tonight is Warburton. I won't make it all the way there, but I'll be very close to it, and I will camp at the side of the road on my way to Warburton en route. It's at Warburton that I have to make the decision. Hello, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I am very close to a small town called Laverton, which is the last town before a 500-something kilometre run to Warburton. I have been using the Garmin Overlander GPS, which I really enjoy using. Right, now I have another technical problem to deal with. This GPS has lost its maps. The maps are not here. Last time I used it, it was absolutely fine. Now it's not absolutely fine, so I now need to somehow get some, there'll be signal here, I'm hoping. If there's not signal, and then I'm going to have to I'll go by paper map. There's 4G here. Okay, let's see what I can do with this. I'll let you know if it works. Okay, the technology demons are after my blood. So then the microphone, this stopped working. That's the radio mic stopped working. So anyway, I think it's working now. Let's see if I've downloaded 2 maps using my phone as a hotspot, and let's have a look and see if it. I did a good amount of, I mean really I was very happy with the amount of time I'd spent in doing my preparation, but I did not check a piece of equipment that works every time I turn it on. my Garmin Overlander. For some reason, the Overlander has no maps on it. The maps have gone. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. All I know is that nothing's showing up, and instead of giving me a list of maps that are on the unit, none of them are on the unit. So I'm sitting here using my mobile connection to download all my maps from scratch. Even something that works every day didn't work when on this trip. Happy days, the maps are working. I don't think I'm getting as much detail as I normally do, but I'm getting sufficient detail, so I'm happy. I've also, while I was doing it, downloaded Wikicamps. Wikicamps is basically people that find campsites, they download it to Wikicamps and then everybody can access it. It does cost, can't remember how much it cost. I bought it about 2 years ago. I don't use it that much. I downloaded it because it was on an old phone that I didn't update on this phone, so I just thought actually, and it's quite a nice piece of software in that when you're in a situation like I am now, I could just head off into the bush and camp, but I also like to know if there are other campsites in the area that people have found and that are nice. We're in the true Outback now, so there's even a sign back there saying Outback, which was kind of telling everybody, okay, officially you're now in the Outback. And what I'll do is I look for a clear area where I can see a bit of distance through the bush next to some heavy bush, so then I can drive in along the area that is clearish, not too dense, that I'm able to drive through without risking punctures, and then move off one way or the other into thicker, denser bush and hide. There's not a lot of traffic on this road, so I don't think, like last night I was woken up often by trucks. I think that's probably unlikely this time, but one has to start looking long before it gets dark, and if I find something I act on it. I won't. Here's an area here, it's quite clear. This looks quite good actually. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. So let me just turn this, and see the bushes there, it's clear. This will be a bit soft. So my main focus here is to drive and not drive over any stumps, wood stumps. Try and avoid wood stumps, because wood stumps will of course possibly can give me a puncture. Driving into the sun is not much fun. That's just somebody here. I see a car. I'm going to try and drive around the tree stump. This is clear. Again, trying to find. I'm talking to you as if I'm thinking, because there's nobody sitting next to me, and you are my travelling companion at this moment. This is pretty good. Well, what's wrong with this? Look at this. I'm going to check out the direction of the wind before I decide to park. Nice. Very quiet. Really quiet. I'm about 300 meters from the road. Can't get any further. The bush just gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and I already drove over a few stumps and worried about punctures already, so I thought, okay, that's enough. There'll be plenty of camping the next few days, miles from a road. I've seen something wrong with the car. Just going around the car inspecting the tyres, and And yo, okay. Oh, it's wrapped around my brake lines. Bad, bad, bad. Okay. There you go. Anything else? No. Should make some fire. Make a fire. Yeah. I'm thinking about having a shower tonight anyway. So there's my kindling. Ta-da. Make it a habit. I do anyway, and it works for me, to check the car as you arrive. Not just before you head off. And the reasons for that, I think, is that I'm now all dirty, but it doesn't matter, I'm going to have a shower anyway. And I want to know that tomorrow morning, when everybody starts their cars, if you're with a convoy, of course now with me on my own, doesn't really matter, but I won't really want to climb underneath the car after I've washed and showered in the morning. Much better to do it now, I think. Nobody else to talk to except you, so I'll just talk to you. I hope you don't mind. You can always turn off if I get boring. If you listen very, very carefully, mind you, you can hear, drum roll, nothing. And that is the point of this. I think I've said that before, and I'm running out of original things to say, I must tell you. Right, I have something that is broken, I need to fix it. The shower system's heart is the Egon water hub and the Egon shower hose kit, of which this is part. But this is not. This was supplied with another hose unit where I was trying it out, and well, it's rubbish. And I can't find a good quality one. This is what happens when you buy rubbish. It's snapped off. So the idea is that it goes underneath the glass on the other side. The suction pad is fine, but the plastic is a very poor quality. So now I have to find a way of tying it onto there, strapping it onto there. I've tried cable ties. Cable ties do not work, so I'm going to use duct tape. If that will work, it goes like that. Put narration in here, because right now I can't think of anything to say.
Through the fields of silence.
Okay, I'll do it. Since you can't think of anything, I said a nice shower. I've got a cottage pie in the oven that Gwyn made for me. I was tempted to make a fire. Why don't I make a little fire? on the canning stock route about fires. I have all my life made fires in a criss-cross pattern. I think many people do. John on the canning taught me a different way, and it's a much better way, and I'm doing it now. I am not lying it across the fire, I am lying everything parallel to the fire. And the reason why this works is pretty obvious when you actually look at the fire. But if you have long pieces joining in the middle, as they burn, you feed them in like this. At the end, you will have no unburnt wood. It's very efficient. It also means that you can get much closer to the fire if you're taking coals off to cook, for example. And I've been doing this for a long time. And can you imagine how many campfires have I made? 1,000? And suddenly somebody shows me how to do it better. And I'm 63 years old. It's better.